And now it's time for the Sponsor Perspective session of the program. Please welcome Lori Montenegro, Bureau Chief for Noticias Telemundo in Washington, D.C., and Monica Gill, Chief Administrative and Marketing Officer of NBC Universal Telemundo Enterprises. Take it away, Lori.
Greetings to everyone. My name is Lori Montenegro, and I am the Bureau Chief for Noticias Telemundo here in Washington, D.C. And I'm just delighted to be here today with a woman that I consider a powerhouse. I'm talking about Monica Gill, who is the Chief Administrative and Marketing Officer of NBC Universal and Telemundo Enterprises. You know, Monica, there's a lot in titles, but I think that it's really important to always say what they mean. And so I want to just take a few minutes so that you could describe to our audience, many of those who have never had any contact with you, what exactly do you do and what are your responsibilities within our corporation?
Sure, Lori. Well, thank you so much. So I am fortunate enough to oversee a number of different strategic functions for the organization. I oversee everything that's the day-to-day of operations. I oversee the marketing efforts and, of course, all of the corporate functions. But really, I think the best way to think about my role is a role that is kind of acts like a symphony director, right? And you're an orchestra leader, and you're really trying to make that everybody, all the instruments are working in harmony. So I like to see my role as pretty much a connective tissue to make sure that we are leading growth and we're continuing to service 60 million Latinos throughout the country.
So Monica, why do you think at this point in time, Latina empowerment is so important?
You know, Lori, I see it more of how do Latinas unleash their power, right? The word empowerment to me makes the assumption sometimes that we're starting from a position of no power in the front. But I think it's very different. The reality is that Latinas are, when they have the self-confidence, it's about unleashing all of that, everything that comes with you, to make sure that you bring your best self to this table and that you're able to unleash all the skills that make an organization run or be better. And in this case, for me specifically, it's so important because I remember feeling scared, feeling like another when I was younger. And I wanted to make sure that no Latina ever feels that again. So as I continued to grow in my own career, I wanted to make sure that there was no Latinas that ever felt that they couldn't ask a question, that they didn't have a system so that they can move forward. So at Telemundo, we created a program called Unstoppable Women, which is truly helping Latinas accelerate their career trajectory. So I like to put together groups of Latinas that are really focused on making sure that we're giving them the professional growth, that they don't cap at a certain level. I noticed that a lot of Latinas would cap at an SVP level and never were able to make the jump. So truly, it's programs like this that are helping Latinas sit in a shared space with other groups of women that are going to help them move forward. Right now, I'm fortunate to be able to sit in a C-suite office, and I really believe that it's my responsibility to throw a rope and bring another Latina in, and I don't apologize for that.
Well, you know, and you mentioned something, unstoppable woman, mujer imparable. I think one of the other advantages is that when people see the faces and the different, women who have accomplished so much in different sectors of our nation, I think that that's a power builder. And it's also encouraging so that they can see that, you know, it is possible. And you've already touched on some of those, but what are some of the factors that are helping women to gain more power and achieve more within the workforce, be it in the public sector, be it in the private sector?
The growth of Latinas has been astronomical. There's 60 million Latinos, as I mentioned, but 30 million of those are Latinas. And why does that matter? Is because 65% of this segment are under the age of 40. So who are under the age of 40? Moms. They're people that are in acquisition mode for a way of new product and services. They're the people that are making purchasing decisions in their homes. So this is really important to advertisers, but in general to community, because we are the future American soccer moms. And then the second thing that is really happening with Latinas is we've seen a tremendous amount of growth in the workforce. You know, for the first time between 2000 and 2017, we saw Latinas enter the workforce at 93%. Just think about that. That's outpacing their male counterparts, Latino male counterparts, which were at about 71%, which is still high, but also non-Latinas, which is 13%. So you can rely on Latinas to buoy the economy every single time. And the third one, which is one that I'm really excited about, is we're seeing Latinas go to college at higher rates than we've ever seen. We've seen from, again, the year 2000 to the year 2017, The number of Latinas that are getting college degrees has actually doubled. It went from about 17% to approximately 30%.
And I think one of the things that's contributing to that is that parents are becoming so involved in their children's education, understanding the education system in the United States, in many cases, the country that they migrated to, and understand the value of a degree. But you know what? Everything is not perfect. One of the issues that we're all facing is COVID and this pandemic. And I think this is a good opportunity to also say, get vaccinated. Planifica tu vacuna, right, Monica?
Absolutely. Absolutely. La vacuna is completely important. And I think that's one of the areas that we have to look forward to. We have to accelerate our vaccination rates. One of the things that I just saw some stats yesterday, Latinos are only 17% vaccinated in this country. Yet with that 17%, they're 30% of the COVID cases across the nation. And in some states like California, they're almost close to 60. And the death rates still are about 20% for Latinos. So the only way we can keep our families together is by keeping them safe. This is absolutely getting information from your medical experts in order to keep our families together.
Monica, I could talk to you all day, and you know that, right? But I know that you're a busy woman and the time has gotten away from us. But I believe, like you, that we cannot end any conversation without talking about where do we go from here?
I kind of like to end this conversation and just thoughts on just what I call the 3 Ps. It's plan, plan, plan. Plan your career trajectory. Now, what do I mean by that? I've sat in dozens of rooms with my male counterparts, and they start planning their career trajectory literally the minute they get a new job. They know the next job that's going to come down. So it's really important that you decide, okay, where do you want to be in your career and how quickly do you want to move through it so that you are meeting the right people, that you're having the right conversations, that you're talking about your performance reviews. I think the other thing is that I really plan your financial freedom. This is something that we don't think about. And the older I've gotten in life, I've realized that I wish I would have done it sooner, because you don't want to live in a life where you don't really know how to plan for your future finances. So it's really important that you understand what are the market rates for the business that you're in, that you're really having a market analysis and understanding that. But also, when I say plan your financial freedom, it also means understanding what makes your business operate. What are the finances and all of the issues that they are facing to be able to grow economically. And the last one is say plan your joy. We forget to do that, but if you don't plan it, your life is going to get past you. So one of the things I've learned to do is plan the joy, plan the things that make me happy, really think about where I want to be in my own life and how do I take the steps to get there. And I think when you do these things, it helps you get unstuck in moments when you're fearful and you feel that you don't have anywhere else to go or what to do. So plan, plan, plan. And I think, Lori, I would end it by really saying is be unstoppable. And we have to stop being afraid of being afraid, right? Being afraid to ask for that raise, being afraid to take a new job, being afraid to go to a different city. Things work out the way they're supposed to, but we have to stop being afraid of being afraid.
Enjoyed having this conversation with you today, Monica. It's always a pleasure to see you. Thank you so much. Monica Gil, our Chief Administrative and Marketing Officer of NBC Universal and Telemundo Enterprises. Thank you for your time, and thank you all out there for listening. Ciao. Have a great day.
Thank you, Lori.
It's always a pleasure to see you. Thank you so much. Monica Gil, our Chief Administrative and Marketing Officer